Hey everyone, I want to start off by apologizing for not making videos for quite some time now. I don't know if I've mentioned it in a video yet, but I got a job recently, so I've been pretty busy with that. I haven't really had too much free time to make videos or anything. I haven't really been watching too many videos either. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely try to make some videos whenever I can. And today I was gonna do my Nintendo collection, but I don't want to do it yet because I haven't played a bunch of the remaining games, and ideally I would like to play a couple of them before I make a video on it. That way I can actually know a little bit about the game and tell you all a little bit about it, maybe some of my experiences about it. So, I thought instead today that I would show you some of my computer games. I didn't really get into computer gaming too much. I played computer games probably from when I was 7 until about maybe 14 or so. So that was around 2004, so I haven't really gotten any new games since then. My computer can't even handle them anyway. I can't even play like Minecraft or anything. But without further ado, I'll start my collection. The first game is Afterlife, and this is a simulator game. It's kind of like SimCity, but you control two worlds. You have heaven and you have hell, and they're pretty much competing against each other, or you can keep them in balance throughout the game. But it's a pretty cool game. I got this in a deluxe combo pack thing. It had a couple games in it for the price of one. I don't know if that's actually, I forgot how much it was, but it was a pretty good deal. I think you got like 6 games in one package, and this was one of them. I never actually had SimCity. I played it at school, but this was my version of it. Also, I don't have the packaging for a lot of these. Yeah, it's long gone. I didn't really keep that stuff back when I was younger. The next game is for Throttle. I love this game. I really love the point-and-click adventure games. And this was another game in the computer game pack. They were made by LucasArts, so it had a bunch of their games. And in this game, you control a biker named Ben. And it's pretty good. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's definitely some very interesting humor. LucasArts is pretty great at making point-and-click adventure games. They were gonna make a sequel to this game, and I was really excited about that, but it ended up getting cancelled, which sucks, but what can you do? One of my favorite memories about this game is there's one part where there's a minefield, and in order to get past it, you have to get a bunch of boxes of lined up bunnies, and you release the bunnies onto the minefield and make a path to walk along, so you can get past it without blowing up. But whenever you let loose any of the bunnies, like they play marching music, and you watch them explode on a minefield. It's pretty funny when you're like 10, and just have a really immature sense of humor, probably both. The next game is Shadows of the Empire. I never actually beat this game. I think that the furthest I've gotten was the IG-88 boss. Excuse me. I don't think he was actually IG-88. It might have been like an imposter or something. I don't really know the full story of Shadows of the Empire. I never read the book, and like I said, I haven't beaten the video game, so I'm not really sure, but I got up to that level. And I also have this game on the N64, but it's pretty fun. It was part of a whole multimedia project back in 97 or 96, sometime around then. The next game is one I haven't played in a really, really long time, and it's Rebel Assault 2. Yeah, I really don't remember too much about this game, but I loved it when I was little. I remember one level where you're controlling the Millennium Falcon, and you have to go through pretty narrow passages, and that part was hard. And there's a similar level with the speeder bikes in Endor, I believe. I'm actually going to have to play through this game again. It's been a really long time, but I do remember it being a lot of fun. And some more Star Wars games. Jedi Knight. This is one of my favorite games ever. It's definitely the computer game I played the most when I was a kid. Probably ever. It's the best Star Wars game in my opinion. It's a first-person shooter, or a third-person shooter, depending on which camera mode you want. And you play as Kyle Katarn, seen here. And you start off the game as kind of a I don't want to say mercenary, but I guess kind of a rogue, and you're trying to find the information about your father who was murdered. And along the way you find out that he was a Jedi, and you get his lightsaber. So what made this game a lot different from other Star Wars games is you actually get to be a Jedi, and battle other Jedi with lightsabers. So that was pretty cool when you're young. It was the first game I ever played that had that. And I don't think any other game did, and if it did, it wasn't as in-depth as this. And there are 7 Dark Jedi you have to battle. They're all really cool. The last 2 fights in particular are pretty hard. It's a good first-person shooter. It didn't really get too much attention because of how many first-person shooters there are. And compared to other ones, it probably wasn't as good, I guess. But I really liked it. And it was my first-person shooter. I didn't really have any other FPS games. I also never got to play it online. we had the internet, but for some reason I could never get the multiplayer to work on it. And then we have the expansion pack for that game, Mysteries of the Sith. In this one you control Mara Jade, and you're the apprentice of Kyle-Katarn, I believe. And you play as Kyle-Katarn for the first 3 or 4 levels, and then after that you play as Mara for the rest of the game. And it's just as good as the Jedi Knight games. It was cool that they have a different playable character, and they also added a lot of new force powers too. Here's a game I got in a cereal box. Amazon Trail. The third one, I guess. I forgot what cereal this was in, but for a while they had computer games that they included in boxes of cereal. I know that Amazon Trail was one of them. They had a board game one. Can't remember what game it was. And they had a couple at any rate. Yeah, I never really played it too much. I just remember being really bad at it because I didn't understand. Like, I didn't really want to read most of the stuff that came up. I just wanted to explore. I skipped over these two by accident. I have the original Dark Forces. This game is pretty cool. It's the prequel to Jedi Knight, but this came first. And it's pretty much the same basic gameplay, but you don't have a lightsaber. It's just weapons. And it came out a couple years earlier. It was a MS-DOS game, I think. So the graphics obviously weren't as good, but the same basic gameplay. I actually don't think I ever played that game all the way through. I found it a lot harder than the sequel. On a similar note, I have the first Rebel Assault. I actually had a different version of this game. I had one that had a blue CD art. I think I had an X-Wing. But that game, for some reason, I smashed it. I threw it around like a frisbee outside. I think my computer couldn't run it for some reason. Like, it installed, but it wouldn't play. So I had to buy a different version. I don't know if I actually had to buy a different version, but I thought I did, so. Yeah, I got this one after Rebel Assault 2. So I definitely preferred the second one. This one was pretty hard. I remember a level where you're in the Death Star Trench, and also one on Tatooine where you're flying a T-16. I think it was this game at least. Anyway, I found it too hard. I'm not very good at flying games. The second Rebel Assault added a lot of third-person shooting elements, which I was better at than flying games, so that might be why I preferred that one. This is another game that came in that combo pack, and it's Super Sampler. You had a playable demo and some media for Dark Forces 2. You had a demo of Yoda Stories, a demo for the game Outlaws. I'm assuming a demo for X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter. I don't actually think I played that game that much. And then Indiana Jones and his Desktop Adventures. Outlaws was a pretty fun game. My next door neighbor had the game, so I got to play the full version there. And I remember that when you beat the demo, there is a face that comes on the screen, and it's one of the outlaws that you shoot. And he dies. And I don't know, for whatever reason, that always really scared me. I have a weird thing with pixelated faces. I had a bad dream when I was little of a vague, poorly defined face. And when I woke up, I got sick. So I'm not sure if that's tied into why I don't like the face in Outlaws, but I remember it used to freak me out when I was little, and I wouldn't look at it. And then Yoda Stories is a top-down adventure game. You play as Luke, and you can travel a couple different worlds. And you pretty much just have to find stuff and kill enemies. Same with Indiana Jones 1, but different franchise, obviously. Okay, and the next three games are the first computer games I ever had. These all came with my first computer, which was my compact Pisario. And I think we got it in 96 or 7. And the first one is the Yukon Trail. I used to play this game quite a bit with my sister and my dad. It's kind of like the Oregon Trail, but obviously you're going to the Yukon. When you get to the Yukon Trail, or wherever you're going, I forgot where. I don't think you have to pick Yukon, you can pick a different destination depending on which level of difficulty you want to do. But I forgot the other ones. You can dig for gold, and if you find gold, you strike it rich, and they show a newspaper saying that you hit it big, or you could find nothing. And there were also little mini games, they had a shooting range one and a card game, as well as one of those games with cups and there's a ball, and you have to figure out which cup the ball is under. I mean, it was very simple stuff, but it was fun when I was little. The second game is Pod. And this is a racing game. It's like a futuristic car racing game. I don't know, I've never been good at racing games, so I don't really have too much to say about this game. And then we have PGA Tour 96 and Magic Carpet. I didn't really play either of these games too much. PGA Tour I just couldn't do well because I didn't really know much about golf. And magic carpet, I couldn't really get to work on my computer for whatever reason. I do remember playing it a couple times, and I think you're just, you fly around on a carpet and you try to destroy other enemies on different carpets. I won't have time to cover all my computer games today, so I will do another second part. But I'll show you two more. This game is Dig, or The Dig, rather. I actually never noticed that before. I've always just called it Dig. It's a point-and-click adventure game. I really like this game a lot, but I never beat it. I got stuck a couple times. I'm not even really too sure of the plot, because I didn't get too far, but I know you're on some kind of alien world, and you come across some alien architecture, and you have to like figure out how to operate puzzles and stuff. It's a pretty fun game. Difficult though. And then ending with another adventure game, Monkey Island, which is one of my favorite games. This one came in one of those combo packs, and it includes Monkey Island 1 and 2, and also a demo for the third one. These games are some of the funniest games I've ever played. Guybrush Threepwood is just such a hilarious character. And the puzzles are fun and difficult, but at the same time not like, horribly difficult. Although, I never beat the first two games when I was little. So, 2 or 3 years ago, I went through and played through all of them, except for the fourth one. I don't know, I tried to play the fourth one, but I didn't like it. It was really weird. It was kind of difficult to control, and I don't know, I'd like to play through it eventually, but it just didn't seem too appealing. But yeah, the first two games are classic. And that's it for this video. I will do the rest of my Nintendo collection. Don't know when, but I will. And I will also do a second part of my computer game collection. Yeah, other than that, I don't really know too much about what will be coming in the future. But thank you to all of you who subscribed and watched me. I really appreciate it.